You're watching ABC 7 News at 4, starting with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. We made it. Friday is here and the big weekend ahead of us, and it looks like it could get a little dicey late in the weekend, holiday weekend on Monday and Tuesday to be exact. Big storms right now moving through the Suncoast. Heavy rain has moved through Venice, also into Rotunda, Inglewood, now setting to move into Bradenton in about the next half hour. In Sarasota right now, downtown, a heavy downpour, very dangerous lightning too. We're seeing that all the way down into Venice, where the rain has actually gotten a little light. There's still a lot of lightning there. Heavy rain on Siesta Key and downtown Sarasota, stretching out toward Lakewood Ranch. And Lakewood Ranch expect frequent lightning there in the next 10 minutes or so. Right now, not much lightning there now, but all that is moving in your direction. Palmetto should be on your doorstep around 4:48, and Lakewood Ranch, as I said, just a few minutes. Bayshore Gardens at about 4:24. We have flood warnings still in effect for all the rivers around town for the most part, along the Manatee River to Myakka Head. We also have it at the Manatee River at the Myakka Head, the Myakka River at the Myakka State Park, and the Peace River as well as Horse Creek, all under a flood warning. Well, much more on all this, and talk about a tropical wave that is going to be moving in on Monday and Tuesday, increasing our chances for some very heavy rainfall. We'll have more of that coming up a little bit later. Jacqueline, Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you. First at 4, a big question we know a lot of people on the Suncoast are asking: is red tide still lingering? And is it safe to go to the beach? And what condition are they in?
We checked with both Sarasota and Manatee counties for those answers. In Sarasota, no fish kills reported today, and staff are monitoring conditions and will send cleanup crews if there are any problems. In Manatee County, it's a little bit of a mixed answer. The Gulf side looks great. No dead fish, fairly clean waters, and no seaweed. Coquina Beach and Cortez Beach are also clean. And take a look at this video that Bob Harrigan took just a few hours ago of Bradenton Beach. The water there still looks a little brownish, but the shores are clear and some people are out enjoying the day. But the Coquina North Boat Ramp and South Boat Ramp have some seaweed and dead fish and is not as clean in that area. Right now, there are no health advisories in place for area beaches.
Manatee County's beaches and canals have seen a dramatic improvement compared to just a week or two ago, though.
Cleanup of the dead fish has been a big success, thanks in part to the help of volunteers and to the work of a contractor. ABC 7's Rick Adams shows us where that cleanup crew stands now.
Yeah, good afternoon. Things are looking really good now. About a week ago, this canal was filled with dead fish, and now take a look at it. Much better in there. It's the same story with other canals we checked out. Earlier this week, Manatee County announced they will not be using a contractor anymore to clean up the dead fish. They've started a program called Nets to Neighbors, where residents can pick up buckets and shovels to help with any further cleanup.
It's been a pretty inspirational effort to see not only county staff, but neighbors themselves and volunteers help, and everybody's pulling in the same direction on this, and we want to see that these are our treasured resources, and everybody wants to see the beaches and shores clear and clean as quickly as possible. So it's pretty special to see everybody pulling in that direction.
And for more information on the Nets to Neighbors program and where you can pick up buckets and shovels, you can log on to our website at mysuncoast.com. Reporting from Manatee County, I'm Rick Adams, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Rick, thank you. Planning to hit the road this Labor Day weekend? Well, so are 2 million other Floridians. So get ready for some slowdowns and backups. It's also going to cost you a little bit more to fill up. Gas prices have barely budged this summer, with the national average for regular hovering around $2.85 a gallon since mid-June. That's down slightly from a high of nearly $3 at the end of May, but it's still about 43 cents a gallon more than drivers paid at this time last year. Analysts warned that Americans should not expect much relief beyond Labor Day. Taking a look at how our roads look right now, we're not seeing any major backups on I-75. A little bit northbound from University Parkway to State Road 70, but the rest of the interstate is looking pretty good at this hour. Now, there is some good news for everyone hitting the highway. State transportation officials say you won't see any nighttime lane closures for construction projects now through Monday. As you might expect, the airports will be busy too. We checked in with the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport. The COO tells us that around 12,000 passengers will travel through SRQ over the next 4 days. That's about a 31% increase in seats compared to last year. The airport says the bump is mostly due to new flights from Allegiant and United. And if you're heading out, make sure you have our app on your phone before you go. ABC7 will alert you if we see any bad accidents or problems that could impact your weekend. So to download the app, go to your app store and just search for the words WWSB or My Suncoast.
A warning to parents tonight to monitor your child's cell phone and social media accounts after a Plant City man was arrested for traveling to Sarasota County to have sex with an 11-year-old child. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick joins us now with what led to this arrest. Jess?
Jacqueline, the relationship started on an app called Big O Live, which is a live streaming platform, and then it progressed to Snapchat and text messages, ultimately leading to the suspect and victim meeting up in a parking lot along her route to school. Deputies say 30-year-old Stephen Roa is a registered sex offender in Plant City. The victim's mother called police after she discovered that Roa and her daughter had exchanged sexually explicit photos. Deputies then discovered that Roa had met the child on her way to school and the two engaged in sexual activity. Deputies are not disclosing what school this child went to, only that it is in Sarasota County. They're warning parents tonight to not only check your child's cell phone, but click on and open every app to make sure it is what it appears to be.
Just because they look like a calculator doesn't mean that it's used for adding and subtracting. Some of those are live platforms that as soon as you click on it, you can talk to anybody in the world live.
Coming up at 6, I'll explain why this man was allowed to have social media accounts. Jacqueline.
All right, thank you, Jess. A donation to a Sarasota thrift store has now prompted a drug investigation. Sarasota police say this plastic bin was dropped off at the Pines thrift shop on North Orange Avenue sometime between Wednesday and Friday of last week. An employee opened it up on Saturday and found 4 vacuum-sealed bags inside. He cut into one of those bags and found marijuana and then called police. It turns out the bin contained almost 5 pounds of marijuana. Police are now going through surveillance video to see if they can figure out who dropped off that bin. Today we want to show you surveillance video of this man again because the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office says he is stealing credit cards from vehicles across the Suncoast. They say this man has taken cards from Northport, Charlotte County, and Venice. If you know who he is or where he may be, you're asked to call the Northport Police Department. Let's check back in with Scott now on how the late Senator John McCain is being remembered today. Scott?
Well, Jacqueline, following memorials in his home state of Arizona, Senator McCain has returned to the nation's capital for the final time. This is a live look at the Capitol Rotunda where the late senator is now lying in state. He's only the 31st person to receive this honor. As you can see, people are slowly filing in, walking next to his flag-draped casket to pay their last respects. Now, this is just the beginning of a final farewell in Washington. Among those honoring McCain, his 106-year-old mother, Roberta.
It is only right that today, near the end of his long journey, John lies here in this great hall, under this mighty dome, like other American heroes before him.
After remarks from the Senate Majority Leader Speaker Paul Ryan and Vice President Pence, who represented the White House, the public was then invited into the rotunda to pay their respects. Tomorrow, there will be a public memorial service at Washington's National Cathedral. Both former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama will deliver tributes. A star-studded tribute for the Queen of Soul today. Musicians, politicians, religious leaders all gathering to say goodbye to Aretha Franklin, who passed away earlier this month at the age of 76. Hundreds of people filed into the Greater Grace Temple in her beloved hometown of Detroit to pay their respects to one of the most iconic performers of all time. Stevie Wonder, Jennifer Hudson, Faith Hill, and Ariana Grande, just some of the performers who took part in the ceremony. Many fans waited for hours to be part of this day.
She's always going to be in our hearts because we have known Aretha all our lives. So all we know is Aretha.
Throughout her long musical career, Aretha Franklin won 18 Grammy Awards. And across the pond, another tribute to Aretha Franklin. In London, the Welsh Guard Band came together to play Respect, one of Franklin's best-known hits. They played the tune during the changing of the guard, which of course is popular with tourists there. Coming up, the 2-year-old rule no longer applies, why the guidelines are changing when it comes to kids and their car seats. Plus, critical care for 2 pygmy killer whales. Mote Marine Lab shares how they are trying to keep the rescued animals alive. We come back.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Florida's coral reefs are declining. Bad news for our oceans and marine life. Fortunately, you can help, and you don't have to dive, you just have to drive. When you purchase Mote's Protect Our Reefs license plate, $25 goes directly to Mote Marine Laboratory, whose research, restoration, and conservation programs are helping this precious natural resource thrive once again. So get your Mote Protect Our Reefs license plate today. You just might hold the key to saving Florida's reefs.
All across America, there are kids going hungry. It sounds crazy, but it's real. It's also a problem we're fixing. Kids who rely on school meals need help in the summer. That means neighborhood meal sites that are easy to get to and free for every kid. When you make breakfast part of a school day, a lot more kids get the chance to eat. These programs work. Over the past few years, 1/3 fewer children in the United States are facing hunger. Let's make No Kid Hungry a reality.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
We have detailed information today about 2 important stories that could impact your health and safety. One of them involves new guidelines parents should know about their kids in car seats. The other involves a massive recall of ground beef that's sold in Publix stores right here on the Suncoast. Now, dozens of ground beef products from Publix may be contaminated with E. coli. At least 18 people have become sick so far. So here's what you need to know. There are 30 products on the recall list, ranging from meatloaf to burgers to meatballs and stuffed peppers with beef. They affect items bought between June 25th and July 31st. We've got the full list of all those products recalled at mysuncoast.com. And if you do have any of those items affected, either throw it out or return it to Publix for a refund. And a surprising change to car seat recommendations. The American Academy of Pediatrics is now advising parents to keep their kids in rear-facing seats as long as possible, up to 4 years old. The reasons? Concerns about the head and neck. The group Safe Kids says using a correct car seat can help decrease a child's risk of death or serious injury by over 70%.
Every month that a child rides rear-facing a little bit longer gives more time for the head, neck, and spine to develop. And that's really why we want kids to ride rear-facing. It protects the head, neck, and spine better in a crash.
The new guidelines are encouraging parents to keep kids rear-facing until they reach the seat's maximum height and weight limit. Let's get back to Jacqueline now in the newsroom for the new information we learned this afternoon about a deadly collision between a passenger bus and a semi-truck.
Scott, medical investigators are now confirming that 8 people died in that accident on a New Mexico interstate. 7 bodies were recovered from the scene, and another person who was injured has now died. Hospitals in Albuquerque and Gallup are still treating other injured patients. The impact of the head-on collision left the passenger bus mangled, and the semi-truck flipped with its tractor trailer on the side. Greyhound bus officials say 49 passengers were on board that bus. New developments surrounding a deadly shooting in Jacksonville. The first lawsuit linked to last weekend's shooting at the gaming tournament has now been filed. Lawyers for Jacob Middich say the Jacksonville landing was not as safe as it should have been, and there was not enough security. 24-year-old David Katz fatally shot 2 people in the back of a restaurant and then took his own life. No word yet on a possible motive. One Riverview man might take a break from water sports this weekend after he had to be rescued from the Coast Guard yesterday. Jason Chavez was kite surfing near Vanoy Park, and when the wind died down, he got into a bit of trouble. A Good Samaritan called the Coast Guard, and a crew was able to quickly get to him and take him to a marina. The Coast Guard reminds everyone to check the boating forecast before heading out, because we all know weather can change quickly. A follow-up now on how 2 pygmy killer whales that were rescued earlier this week are doing today. The whales are nicknamed Thunder and Lightning. That's because they were rescued during a thunderstorm in Clearwater on Wednesday. The whales were taken to Mote Marine Lab in Sarasota, where they are now getting 24-hour care, but they are still in critical condition. Thunder can swim unaided for stretches of time, but Lightning still needs to be supported by caregivers. But the whales are interacting with each other, which is a good sign. And speaking of thunder and lightning, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a look at those storms across the Sun Coast. Bob.
Thanks, Jacqueline. And they are rolling in, although they're starting to end a little bit in South Sarasota County and Central Sarasota County. The storms have been periodically moving through this afternoon, producing some very dangerous lightning and some heavy rain. We're talking rainfall rates up to 2, nearly 3 inches per hour. And it's still raining pretty heavy out over the bay right now. Sarasota, we're looking off toward Longboat Key with that shot right there from the Van Wezel webcam. And Mindy Towns getting this from Lakewood Ranch just a few minutes ago. And another impressive shelf cloud associated with that line of storms moving into Lakewood Ranch right now. They're there, and again, appreciate those photos. We have a couple more we'll be showing at the 5 and 6 o'clock newscast tonight. Again, the storm is moving off to the west-northwest at around 15 miles an hour. There's another line we're starting to see right here develop, so we're not going to be totally through with these storms in the next hour. There'll still be another line that we'll be watching into our central viewing area that could be posing a threat or two. This one now starting to flare up right here in the last frame. You'll see it over portions of Manatee County, spreading off toward Parrish in about, I'd say, a half hour from now. It'll be on your doorstep there. This one's starting to weaken somewhat and had been much more intense just about a half hour ago down near Venice. The rain is still pretty heavy, as I mentioned, out of Sarasota Bay, up near the airport, heading off toward Televast and Bayshore Gardens. Elsewhere, as another line of storms starting to pop up in eastern sections of Charlotte County. So the atmosphere is very juiced up right now. There may be a little slightly drier air settling in on tomorrow, so our rain chances slipping down just a little bit. Not enough to say we're not going to get any rainfall. And in Venice, they've already had up to 7 inches of rain at the island and near Nokomis. 2 more inches can be added on top of that in some places from the past 5 days, actually now 6 days, when we've started to see all this heavy rainfall. You can see the heaviest rain by far right there near Venice and Englewood. Well, the rain is going to continue to get heavy, I think, especially Monday and even into Tuesday as a result of this tropical wave. Thankfully, it's just going to be a tropical wave, it looks like, as it moves on through. The chances of it developing into a tropical storm, tropical depression is pretty small at this point due to some strong upper level winds. And you can see the cloud tops being sheared apart right there with that strong southwest wind in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So the Hurricane Center watching it. It's now the broad area of low pressure situated right there near the Dominican Republic. It's heading off toward the west-northwest, and the European forecast model does not close the system off, but it does bring some heavy rainfall into South Florida. And eventually, I'll step out of the way and show you where that's headed. It looks like off toward Texas as a result of the winds becoming more westerly around the area of high pressure off the southeast coast there. There goes the other storm too. That'll be Florence, way out there in the Atlantic, moving off into the North Atlantic. So that's not going to be a big factor for us as we move through time next week. Speaking of that, we are watching the potential for this to become a named storm. Right now that hasn't happened quite yet. But there's the forecast. You can see it heading off into the open waters of the Atlantic. These are the storms that disperse the energy, don't really cause a lot of problems for land, just shipping interests along the way. So for boaters tomorrow, winds will be similar to what we've seen today. East winds turning to the southeast, 15 knots. Seas will be generally around 2 feet with a moderate chop. Here's the extended forecast. Only a 40%, but still only a 40 means we're still going to see some storms around. Labor Day, it's not going to be a 705% chance, but it will be a 70% chance for storms, and it looks as though we will see a good chance for showers and storms. We'll talk more about the fishing a little bit. The weather app is what you want to download. That is available for free at from mysuncoast.com. You can go there and find how to get to it. Also, you can just go to your app store, do a search for WWSB First Alert Weather, and download it for free and keep up to date with all the weather happenings.
Well, Bob, some people in Hawaii still dealing with flood damage. We know the rains they got from Lane. In Hanalei on the island of Kauai, flash flooding has washed out the main road and some homes are shifted right off their foundations. The homes were already in bad shape from torrential rains they experienced there last April, and then Hurricane Lane made that situation even worse.
Parks are also underwater. Crews are trying to repair the roads that have been damaged, as well as schools and businesses. And real quick, another major storm's heading that way. We'll talk about that later as well.
Oh boy. Okay, thank you, Bob. So many games, so little time. Up next, the new Tactic One airline is trying to entice more college football fans to fly.
I'm Linda Carson from Suncoast View. Coming up Monday morning at 9, it is the only one of its kind in the world and is coming right here to the Suncoast. We'll learn more about the new Women's Sports Museum from its creator and how it's coming together. Plus, Geyer Sausage Kitchen is in our kitchen. That's coming up Monday morning at 9.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular Event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular Event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
Attention, do you have Medicare? Do you want to make sure you have the most benefits and lowest possible out-of-pocket costs? You may be able to lower your out-of-pocket costs and get dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now to find out what you deserve.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Over 3 million people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, but there are still many people who don't check to see if they're eligible for more benefits and lower out-of-pocket costs. It's so easy. One simple free call could save you money and get you more benefits. Be smart. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Call now to see if you may be eligible to lower your copays and get extra benefits, including dental and prescription coverage. Don't delay. Call to see if you're able to save money and get more benefits now. Call 1-800-711-7200. Again, call 1-800-711-7200 now.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash.
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
What could be treasure?
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
The wait is almost over. College football fans will be waking up early for the season kickoff for most teams and get ready to cheer on the Gators, right? Well, you can catch 3 back-to-back games right here on ABC 7 starting at 12 with Oregon State and Ohio State. Auburn will then take on Washington Huskies at 3:30, and then Saturday night at 8 it is Alabama versus Louisville from Orlando. And if you're still trying to figure out how to get to more games this fall, United Airlines might be able to help. United is adding more than 200,000 seats to its flights to college football hotspots. That includes State College, Pennsylvania, South Bend, Indiana, and Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Speaking of football, Jacqueline is in the newsroom now with a quick look at the high school football story we're working on for you tonight.
That's right, Scott. This week is the second week of high school football here on the Suncoast, and fans may see some changes at the fields in Manatee County. The Sheriff's Office and school district are working together to make games safer. We'll show you what they have planned. And at 6, the long-term effects of red tide. What is it doing to our protected mangroves? Hear what environmentalists have to say. And tonight on ABC 7 at 7, the aftermath of the surprising results of this week's primary. What can we expect over the next 2 months in the already heated Florida governor's race? We hope you'll stay with us. In the meantime, let's get a check on our final forecast.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Sunset tonight, 7:54. I think most of the rain will be over by then. We will still see a chance for a few scattered storms. It will be partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, still some debris clouds left over from the earlier storms, and winds generally out of the southeast, as they have been all day long for the most part, although the storms have kind of disrupted the winds a little bit. But notice how that storm was very intense as it made its way up, and then now just a little bit left near northwest Bradenton, also out toward Cortez. This storm in particular is pretty heavy near Duet, heading off pretty close to Parrish now. I suspect that Parrish will get the at least clipped by this storm, as it's already starting to pop just to the east of you. We'll have more on this coming up at 5. Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on ABC 7 News at 4. We'll see you again at 5 o'clock.